I say either give it back or shut the fuck up. AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin the fun. Congressman Jamal Bowman says capitalism is slavery by another name. No, it's not. It's the thing that has given more people more prosperity and hope than any other system, flawed though it surely is. Say something about America that you like, because honestly, I don't know why the people who are fighting for this country so hard even want it anymore.
Bill Maher just called out AOC, and the problem he's pointing to is hard to ignore. Every time Republicans are in power, suddenly America is described as broken. Everything is a disaster. Everything is falling apart. But when Democrats are in power, the tone completely changes. And fast. Maher's point is simple. That's not standing by your beliefs. That's just picking when to be angry. Outrage only when it's convenient. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. If you like straight political talk with no fluff, hit subscribe, drop a like, and let's get into it.
A more pertinent question to ask about the word woke might be, why in such a short time has it gone from a rallying cry to a pejorative? If the word only made you think of rational, deserved causes like teaching a less whitewashed version of American history, AOC would still want to own it. But it's a joke, because it makes you think of people who wake up offended and take orders from Twitter, and their oversensitivity has grown tiresome. That said,
Maher also goes after AOC's past ties to woke politics. And that history didn't just disappear. When woke was popular, when it got you media attention and cultural respect, people like AOC were all in. The slogans were there. The symbols were there. The whole image was built around it. But now that it doesn't sell well with regular voters, suddenly there's distance. Suddenly everyone sounds less attached to it. And Maher's take is straight to the point. This doesn't look like a real change in beliefs. It looks like a rebrand. The old version stopped working, so the image got cleaned up. Simple as that.
That said, I would love to have AOC on this show. There's so much to admire there. I was one of her first supporters for the Green New Deal idea. But that will probably never happen, because Democrats don't go anywhere these days where they're not pre-adored. And that's my last bit of advice to them. Go where the amen corner isn't. Do Fox News. Be brave. Come here. Go everywhere. Winning is about expanding the election.
Maher has made it clear. AOC is welcome on his show anytime to come and defend herself directly. But that's the thing. Showing up on Maher's show is not the same as showing up somewhere safe, somewhere friendly, somewhere the questions are easy and nobody pushes back. Maher presses. Maher follows up. He doesn't just let rehearsed answers slide by without a challenge. And that's exactly why critics think she'd think twice before accepting that invite. Because when the environment stops protecting you, your words have to stand on their own. No soft questions, no friendly framing. And that's when the carefully prepared answers can start to fall apart.
Don't really love America if you hate half the people in it. And also, if you hate a lot of the things that everybody always loved about it. There's an oft-repeated moment in political debates where the moderator says to the two candidates, say something nice about your opponent.
Can you say one nice thing, something that you admire about your opponent?
Say something nice about Representative Deal.
Tell us something that you admire about your opponent.
Could you say something nice about your opponent?
It's always so awkward because the candidates just spent an hour describing how America would be an out-of-control dumpster fire if the other guy won the election.
Maher's bigger point cuts even deeper than that. He's basically saying that for people like AOC, the problem isn't really America itself. The problem is the Americans they disagree with politically. Because the second the other side takes power, suddenly the whole country is described as morally broken, not flawed, not struggling, not messy, broken, completely broken, maybe even beyond saving. And from there, everything follows the same pattern. Every policy becomes proof that the country is collapsing. Every disagreement turns into a scandal. Every headline becomes another reason to paint America in the darkest way possible. Maher's point is simple. At some point, this stops looking like honest criticism. It starts looking like a reflex, a habit. Something that kicks in automatically the moment the wrong person is in charge.
Okay, I say the next time we have debates, the moderator needs to frame that question a little differently, as say something about America that you like, because honestly, I don't know why the people who are fighting for this country so hard even want it anymore. Republicans, I'll start with you. I really want to know. That is what's so odd about this time that we're living in. For all the talk about fighting for the soul of America, nobody seems to like it very much. Too many liberals give the impression that to them, America is just a big, ugh. The red, white, and ew.
And Maher is hitting on something real here. Look at how quickly the standards change depending on who's in the White House. Under Biden, inflation was explained away. Border problems were softened. Foreign policy mistakes were met with patience and understanding. But put Trump back in power, suddenly every single flaw is proof that America is falling apart. That's the contrast Maher keeps hammering on. And at the same time, Trump supporters point to stronger economic numbers, tighter border control, energy-focused policies, and a tougher stance overseas. So Maher's criticism is clear. Too many people choose their side first, then go looking for evidence to back it up afterward. And once that becomes the habit, honest analysis is gone. It's no longer about what's true. It's about defending the team. That's not political thinking. That's loyalty management dressed up as commentary.
A country that started out bad and will always be bad, founded on an unrelenting history of sucking and unable to change. But we have changed a lot. Democrat Cori Bush tweeted, "This land is stolen land and black people still aren't free." And this was on the 4th of July. Really? Not that I give a shit about the 4th of July. I've never been a rah-rah guy. But I am a perspective guy. And that's what too much of the left has lost, perspective.
Maher's criticism of the outrage mindset hits hard because people can actually see it happening in real life. In parts of the left, anger doesn't feel like a natural reaction to specific events anymore. It feels like a permanent setting, always on, never powering down, never letting go. If something gets better, it gets ignored or minimized. If real progress happens, the conversation quietly shifts somewhere else. If the facts stop fitting the story just moves on and finds a new disaster to focus on. And that's exactly where Maher's point lands hardest. Because once it reaches that point, the criticism stops looking like it's really about fixing anything. It starts looking like something else entirely. A way to build an identity. A way to signal that you're one of the good ones. A way to stay emotionally attached to the idea that everything is broken. Not because everything is broken, but because feeling that way has become part of who they are.
72% of black people under 30 are optimistic about their future in America. Way more than white people the same age. And as far as the land goes, yes, I guess we could change the name of Captain America to Captain Stolen Land. But honestly, to all the people who start every public event now with one of those land acknowledgements where they say, "I'm standing on land that was stolen from the proud indigenous people of the Chumash tribe," I say either give it back or shut the fuck up.
Maher also pushes back on the idea that black Americans today are living in the exact same conditions as generations ago. And no, his point is not that every problem is solved. Not even close. His point is that pretending there has been zero progress is its own form of dishonesty. Since the 1960s and 70s, doors have opened in education, business, politics, and culture that once seemed completely out of reach. That's real. That happened. And that matters a lot. But when the conversation only circles around pain, only circles around grievance, only focuses on what's still broken, it leaves out a massive part of the full story. Maher's argument is straightforward. If your version of events only works by ignoring real progress, then your version of events has a serious credibility problem. You don't have to pretend everything is perfect, but you also can't pretend nothing has changed, because it has. And leaving that out isn't honest. It's selective.
AOC says so many people in this country hate women. Oh, geez. Even the guy at the party who pulls out a guitar is like, way to ruin the fun. Congressman Jamal Bowman says capitalism is slavery by another name. No, it's not. It's the thing that has given more people more prosperity and hope than any other system, flawed though it surely is.
Then there's socialism, which keeps getting sold like a clean, moral upgrade to capitalism. But the real-world track record tells a much messier story. Some Democrats still pitch it as the more ethical system. But the countries that keep coming up in that conversation, Venezuela, Cuba, North Korea, are also tied to shortages, instability, and weak economies. Yes, each case has its own mix of sanctions, bad governance, and isolation. That's fair, but the question is still sitting right there. If the same kinds of problems keep showing up in practice, why does the system keep getting marketed like the obvious smart choice? And yes, most modern economies are mixed. They combine elements of both capitalism and socialism. Fine, exactly. Which is actually Maher's point. The real debate shouldn't be about which label sounds more moral. It should be about what actually works. What produces real results for real people. Outcomes over slogans. Every time. Because a system that sounds good in theory but keeps failing in practice isn't a moral upgrade. It's just a better marketing job.
Immigrants. Ask any of them why they came here, and they will tell you the same thing. Ron DeSantis put me on a plane. But they will also tell you that America, for all that's so shitty about it right now, is still the last best hope. And those people asking for our votes to take it over should remember that.
And that brings us right back to the contradiction Maher keeps pointing to. AOC and her allies constantly talk about reshaping America's future, but they also describe America as deeply broken, deeply unjust, and sometimes barely worth defending. So the obvious question is right there. If the country is really that rotten, why the non-stop push to control where it goes next? That's the part Maher keeps coming back to. And for good reason. Because real leadership takes more than anger. More than slogans. More than treating huge portions of the country like they're beneath respect. It takes persuasion. It takes credibility. It takes the ability to actually speak to people outside your own political circle. And Maher's point is simple. When your whole message is built on division and contempt, it becomes very hard to sell yourself as the person with the answers. You can't spend all your time telling people how broken and shameful their country is, and then turn around and ask those same people to trust you to lead it. That's not a political strategy. That's a contradiction. And more people are starting to notice it.
But again, something like the free market is kind of synonymous with America. And if you don't like it, I don't know how you can say you love this country. You know who loves this country? You know who's not constantly complaining about what happened 200 years ago and who's not obsessed with seeing America through shit-colored glasses and shaking off the stench of what irredeemable, privileged assholes we are? Immigrants.
And maybe that's why Maher's bigger point lands so hard. For all the non-stop complaining, for all the dramatic speeches about how broken America supposedly is, people all over the world still look at this country and see opportunity. They see stability. They see freedom. They see a chance to work hard, build something, and create a better life. For millions of people, that promise is real enough that they are willing to risk everything just to get a shot at it. And that's what makes this whole debate so revealing. America gets talked about not as a flawed country, but as a permanently rotten rotten one, not as a place with problems to solve, but as a place where even progress has to be treated like a lie. And that's where AOC and her allies come in, because the message they often send is this: if you say anything good about America, you must be excusing everything bad. If you talk about progress, you must be ignoring the past. But that's a false choice. You can talk about America's problems without pretending the whole country is beyond saving. You can push for change without acting like nothing good has ever existed here. That's Maher's point. You can demand better without talking like the whole thing is hopeless. And once politics turns into a contest over who can sound the most ashamed of their own country, it stops being persuasive. It starts sounding like a performance, and people can hear that difference. America isn't perfect, not even close, but it is still a country people trust, admire, and want to be part of. A country that still attracts ambition, sacrifice, and hope is not a country people truly believe is hopeless. And that's the real takeaway. AOC and her allies can keep framing America as nothing but failure, guilt, and disappointment. But most people can see that's not the full picture. A country moves forward by fixing what's wrong without denying what's strong. And when criticism stops sounding like a call for reform and starts sounding like pure resentment, people stop hearing truth. They just hear contempt. So if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.